Hello, this is Charter Local Edition Northwest. I'm Dana Cowley, your host, and today our crew is in Portland, Oregon, and we're covering the Oregon Coast Summit. My guest is Washington State Senator John McCoy. He's a Democrat from the 38th District. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
I'm happy to be here.
Now, you've traveled from Washington down to Oregon for a summit. What benefit do you think that Washington has for being here?
Well, for Washington, this conference is about the Pacific Northwest region. So it's imperative that all the communities work together, and we need to be here so that we can support one another in the issues that concern all of us, all the cross-border issues, not only state to state, but Canada and the U.S.
For your particular constituency, what things do you hope to accomplish the most from this? What are your priorities here?
Well, my priorities, my number one priority is deploying the internet out to rural areas. If the economies of Canada and the United States, if they're to grow beyond the metropolitan area, we have to get into the rural areas. Now, it's extremely expensive to get out to the rural areas, so we have to look at all the technologies on how to deploy out to rural areas. There's a lot of time and effort being spent on this. There was a corporation that made a major announcement about 3 weeks ago on what they were trying to do in Africa, and I said, well, wait a minute. We have issues here in the United States with the same problem, and so consequently, I gave them a call, and we're going to be chatting in a couple weeks to talk about the technology that they want to employ out to rural areas. So that's what we have to do, because if we're to grow and be able to help our friends in the rural areas, we need to get the internet out. As for my own particular Indian reservation, when I came home in '94, there was no internet on the reservation. Today, economic development is booming, and it was all because of the internet. So consequently, if we want the rest of the Washington State rural area and Oregon and the others, Canada, we need to deploy the internet, and we need to deploy it as a utility, not as a profit center. So we need to take a look at how we get it out there. Myself, I was in a meeting yesterday on energy, and they were talking about microgrids. Well, we need to do the same thing with the internet in creating intranets for rural communities, and then asking the major telecom companies to at least get the fiber out to them, but then let the community in their micro network or their intranet handle it from that point. That way you can help reduce the cost, and the community is taking care of themselves as it should be.
Well, you mentioned that you're passionate about working on economic development for your constituents, but the internet is so important anymore for education. Really, even if you're starting in elementary school all the way up to college, you used to go to a store to buy a book, and now you're reading online. Yes,
everything is pretty much online nowadays. I'm an adjunct professor at Evergreen State College, and I teach in the Master's Public Administration. And yes, we send a lot of our students to the internet to buy books, find articles, and other research papers. So the internet is extremely valuable to the entire spectrum: business, education, religion, everything. The internet has crossed everything. So that's why it should be a utility. If we don't get out to the rural areas, and at some point in time like when the United States created the rural electric companies. You know, we may see a bill saying you got to do the same thing with the internet. So I see that coming. So let's start moving in that direction.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you being on our set and being our guest today. I wish you the best of luck with the things you're trying to accomplish. And we thank you for watching. This is Charter Local Edition Northwest.